Alrighty, Dabblers. Good morning. It's your old friend Cale here. I am the community manager at Dabl Club, third space for folks to learn, grow, and build within the Polygon ecosystem. It has been far too long since our last community call, and it's a really great way to start this beautiful Friday. So I'm happy to have you here. We're already seeing y'all lighting it up here in the comments, and so we appreciate your time today. And if you're watching this after the fact on the recording, async, wherever you are in the world, we appreciate your time, your energy, and your enthusiasm. So if you have not found the Dabl Club yet, let me take this opportunity to welcome you and invite you to join us at dabl.chat. That's the easiest way to get in touch with everybody in the Dabl Club. That'll put you right into our Telegram group. It's a wonderful space to connect with other builders, believers, and founders that are building interesting projects and working on the next elements that are coming alive within the Polygon ecosystem. So to not take any more of your time than we will intend today, let's jump right in to our agenda. So we're going to be having a multiple set of speakers here today, as we typically have this format going. So we'll have some friends from the Polygon team themselves joining us today. We'll have some community members that just are near and dear to my heart, because real passion in the trenches is a rare commodity in this space. And so we'll be joined by them. And then you'll have the dynamic duo from Dabl Club. You have Collin joining us as well. And then Mel, our DevRel, should be hopping in here any minute, and we'll have him coming along as well. So Dabl Club call agenda, right? We're doing the review right now. Like I mentioned, Mattie Fairchild, who is the founder DevRel at Polygon team proper. She'll be joining us and giving us the scope on a whole bunch of different things that she's got her hands on. A very busy person these days. So she'll have lots of different opportunities to give us some perspective, some reference, answer some community questions. So if you have any questions at all related to someone in that position, now's a great time to start flooding those through in the comments, and we'll be sure to have those addressed. Silver is going to be joining us as well. This is that community member that I mentioned, somebody that I had the pleasure of kind of observing for a while and have been supporting along the way, but somebody that just kind of popped up out of thin air in the Polygon Discord community and has really taken it upon themselves to push some initiatives to support founders and builders, specifically looking at things like pitch deck review and really providing a lot of the business support and helping founders who are probably good coders learn how to take their projects into a cleaner opportunity. You know him, you love him. Collin will be hopping up on stage as well. Again, somebody who's super busy out there in San Francisco and hyper aware of so many different things going on. Once we get him talking, you know, you'll hear lots. And then we'll get Mel in here in a little bit. I hit him up with the link. I'm sure he's having a little bit of a late start to the day because the poor guy's always building something. So we'll get him pulled up here soon, and then we will be moving right on. So without further ado, as I mentioned, we'll go ahead and pull Mattie up onto the stage. Mattie, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
I'm
Ooh, it
doing
looks
really
like
well.
we have Pancake right here, but it looks like she might be slightly off. Oh, yep, there we go. We got a little bit of Pancake saying that she wants to stare out the window. That'll be
I
enough
still
for
have
us.
I have yet to have the opportunity to watch Pancake on the wheel. I want to watch these cats
I
run.
changed my background, unfortunately. Yeah, the wheel is right here. Sometimes you can hear it. Like sometimes she'll go for a morning constitutional, but yeah, it's not on camera these days. But this one's rare, having a Pancake sighting to I'm not entirely sure what she's doing. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Good morning. Happy Friday, GM.
Mattie, let's go through our whole story here too real quick, because I had the opportunity to meet you in person really kind of right when you were getting started with this whole entire ecosystem. So this was what, in San Francisco at the ETH Global event. Gosh, it feels like it feels far away, and it feels like it was yesterday, as time tends to kind of
I think
distort
that was
itself.
8 months ago. So I am told it's currently May, but there's no way that that's true. That would mean that we're almost to June, which would mean we're almost to Q3, which means the year's almost over. So yeah, there's no way that's true.
How did you find the Polygon ecosystem? What has your transition been like so far? And what are you currently working on right now?
I remember, yeah. So that time when we met, I had just accepted the job at Polygon, and so I was previously in the OP ecosystem, and I knew following that I wanted a role to work more directly with builders, developers, founders, and to like widen that reach, the number of folks that I could work with. And when I saw the Polygon role and it had the F word in the title of founder, I'm like, all right, what's going on here? That's an unusual way to frame it. And it really spoke to me, where in addition to DevRel work, it included how to help entrepreneurs, how to help builders, and really help them navigate that funding and shipping cycle that can be really lonely, and it's just freaking hard. I went through that about 10 years ago now, which is wild to have a thing in my life to measure in decades. But it was about 10 years ago when I started my own video game studio, and went through all of that. So raised money, hired a team, shipped a product, didn't have product market fit, wound it down. And that is what ultimately put me on the collision course for crypto a couple of years later. But that's what brings me here today. And Polygon's been super fun. Like I know I'm supposed to say that, but like it surprised me the extent to which, like once I was sitting down with everybody, including at San Francisco, how much was in the hopper. And also that like Polygon had really navigated this challenging time and was ready to go, like ready to ship, ready to get things out there. And so it's really cool to start seeing that come out like this week with the, I think we might hop into a couple of them, but with the Vault Bridge announcement, with the CDK OP Geth with using OP Stack announcement, some more announcements next week. And the important thing is these are actual announcements. This is not an announcement of an announcement, not like, hey, next week we're going to hear the greatest thing ever. And then it's like, hey, in July, we're going to tell you the greatest thing ever. It's actually shipping, which is a lot of fun.
Well, and it's honestly, it's been a lot this week, right? It feels like hold, and then all at once. We have really had, like you said, a lot of meat and potatoes to discuss all of a sudden. You know, Polygon's been cooking quietly. When you're in the team chats, you see how much work's occurring. You know that there's things that are coming, but it's really fun when they start to see the light of day. And it's been good to see Sandeep tweeting more and dropping the threads and making these big announcements. So you kind of just laid out a whole bunch of them too, but I want to make sure that we highlight one of my favorite developments that I've seen that I'd like to think that you have a good hand in dealing with, which is the Boys Club getting a lot more involved inside of the Polygon ecosystem, because they're one of my favorite groups, one of the only newsletters I actually read. And so it's really been fun to watch them just continue to try to like grow their presence. And I'm wondering if you got any shout outs or what's your relationship there?
Oh, yeah, ultimately why I'm here. Like, I love that community. And fortunately, with the Polygon introduction, it's really just a matter of introducing great people to each other. Where I was at the Boys Club party in Bangkok, and my new team was also there. I was about 2 weeks into Polygon at that point when they're like, all right, time to go meet everybody halfway across the world, which was awesome because everybody was there. But I didn't know a ton about my new team yet, but then everybody showed up to the Boys Club party. And I remember our head of marketing standing there and looking around like, we need to do this. We need something like this. This is freaking cool. I'm not sure he said freaking, but I'm like, great. Well, like, let's introduce folks. And then they all just kind of ran with it. So I'm excited for there's more stuff coming up towards the second half of the year. Boys Club is one of the first communities that I got involved in as I started moving into the space. And because I was like actively looking for a women in crypto community that was earlier on, that like maybe I could join the community and make a mark early. And I'm so glad that I did.
I think those are the Tradwife parties. Those are always a good time.
The Tradwife parties are fun. And yeah, the early days were something else.
Let's dive into the ecosystem stuff here. So grants is just kind of, you know, it wraps, but there's still allocators that are active. So there's still lots of ways to participate. I know that you're not the total charge leading grants, but you're pretty dang involved with it. And as you kind of mirror it with your founder DevRel support, you answer a lot of these questions. You have a lot of these discussions. So what's the current status? What's going on with grants? How do people get involved with grants if they haven't heard about it or even gotten any visibility on the prior seasons? What's the future of grants look like? What's the scope right now?
Yeah. So this is what I've been excited to come on about. And so for folks watching, for folks in the chat, please do drop questions in, like anything that you want to ask about what grants are going on, what grants are closed, how to get a grant, where to go. And also, if you have any questions on details for the Polygon grants, I would love to answer them here. And so feel free to drop anything in. We have people that are watching the comments to share them over. So my team's role is so taking a step back, with the poll migration, which is also one of the first Dabl community calls that I saw, was when y'all were helping navigate the Mattie to poll migration about 8 months ago now.
Yeah.
And I remember that morning very well. And one of the changes that happened with that migration was we now had emissions. We now had poll being generated that was net new, that was inflating, but was the ecosystem. Half of that goes to validators, and half of that goes to the community. It's for growing the community, the ecosystem, part of what we call the community treasury. It's 100 million poll a year, and it goes for 10 years, which is a lot to work with. And so my team's job is to work with the community treasury board, so the community body that leads it and sets the strategy, and it's to work with them to help make it happen. And we had just finished season 1 when I joined. We started scoping up season 2, and for season 2, we were saying like, all right, what worked with season 1? One of the things that the goal with season 2 was let's work with grant allocators in order to get more grants into as many teams' hands as possible. So we had a Polygon track, that was the direct track. We also had about 12 allocators that were jamming, including like some of these I'm really excited about, like Eliza Labs found 10 badass teams that are using Eliza that they gave some grants to. IoTex turned theirs into a DeepIn company, turned theirs into a Crypto's Got Talent, and found 6 teams that they're really excited, and it's still going. Like everybody here should watch Crypto's Got Talent. So there were just some really creative use cases. Encode Club, which is a really great like incubator hackathon accelerator team, it was an allocator and recently wrapped theirs up. Crossmint, another AI team, and going on right now is Thrive. And so there's a couple. Angel Hack is going to close soon. So if you want to apply to Angel Hack, you should. Thrive is still going. Like Thrive is going to go for, I believe it's at least another month. And that's a general track. And so if you have something that doesn't quite fit into the others, you can still apply to that. Polybrain is also one that Polybrain came from a tweet where somebody, I forget who it was. I should find that. Somebody tweeted like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we designed an LLM, not just to be like copy paste, like not just to be a wrapper, but if we designed an LLM that was attached to infrastructure to receive grant applications, to evaluate the grant applications, then to manage a social media contest where it's evaluating how this team activates their community. And then the part where I got excited, because also I'm a nerd, is automate reports. So like a big lift that we know from grant allocators and working with these third-party teams is that the reporting requirements can be kind of onerous. If you have not just like dropping everything into ChatGPT, but something custom built, then and you could generate that initial report for here's who we backed, here's how it landed on chain, here are the very trackable metrics for that show that it's growing the ecosystem, or just as important, show how it's not growing the ecosystem, so that then we can change what we're doing. But that one's also live right now. I believe it's in the final stages, and so Polybrain's a lot of fun.
We actually have one of our grantees from the CrossMint program is in our comments right now, Shruti, in the Allow Me team. So it's been fun to watch.
Congratulations! I would like to chat. I would like to chat with. So one of my new quarter resolutions is to chat with every single grant team that I possibly can, and a bunch of grants teams that might not have gotten grants, and just learn as much about how we can support you as possible.
I definitely hang out with all the grant applicants. I know that Collin and I and so many others in the ecosystem have been super busy, like the LDA team over at QuickSwap as well, just really good at referring folks to these programs. I'm curious, do you have any insight on how the Community Treasury Board members were found? Because these are like heavy hitters and they kind of represent some really different backgrounds.
And we have a new one. So joined last week, and we'll have I think wider announcements are going out next week. So the initial Community Treasury Board was created along with the board itself as the inaugural members, based on drawn from people who helped grow the early Polygon community and helped it get to where it is today. So people super close, like you mentioned, LDA is an example there. So people super close to builders and understanding the pulse of the community. From there, we wanted a different set of skill sets, ranging from people that work directly with teams for funding decisions, to people onboarding new people into crypto, to folks that are like really DeFi native and understand how to build up these larger mechanisms. And the new board member, named Michelle, comes from Octant, is an absolute badass for managing grant operations, and hit my radar when she was talking about her 92-page report on evaluating different grant distribution programs across the ecosystem.
That's
and every
massive.
one of those 92 pages is good, which is hard to do.
Right on. I got to get my hands on that. I'd love to see that. Grants is one of those golden gooses. It's hard to thread that needle, but it's always worth pursuing.
And that's actually part of what we're thinking about, where for the next season of the Treasury, we're going to try to avoid using the word grants as much as possible. It's overused, it's unclear, and it leads to frustration because it's used in places that leads to expectations that don't work on one side or the other. An example is when a team is asking for a grant to like operate infrastructure over time. Like that's a business deal. Like that's something should be negotiated by the internal team. It's predictable. You can set it up. It could still be run by the funded from the community treasury if we agree it's a priority, but it needs to be in its own queue. It needs to have its own system set up around it, and needs to have its own rules. That, for instance, one place where something we're going to move away from is the season structure, so that these should just be ongoing. Like seasons were useful for us to learn and change like how we wanted to operate. We know enough now that we can maintain flexibility, but not shut everything down like we did in season 2.
That sounds perfect. It's always builder season, right? And Dabl Club's never
Exactly.
closed. And so you never know when a good project or new founder hits the scene, and it's always got to be able to welcome them.
And getting people to the right spot. Grants are useful as a filtering mechanism, but also it's a small number of teams that can get a grant just in any system. That maybe you can get up to a third of applicants, but also that might be too many. You might be actually giving grants to teams that don't tie back into value for the ecosystem or help grow value for the community. And so you have to have some kind of razor, some kind of mechanism, but that means you still need to support everybody else. And that's why we're looking at grants. How do we really target this into not just here is an amount of pull to hit this near-term milestone, but how can we use it for investments? How can we use it to support asset launches? How can we use it for how can we use it for liquidity incentives? Can we do something where with the treasury, we actually, here's a crazy idea. What if we use it in the ecosystem? And this actually comes directly from the community. And this is from the community board as well of y'all, we're just using grants for everything. That's a pretty blunt instrument. Let's use stuff that's on Polygon. Let's use stuff on POS, put it in there, then use the proceeds from that to fund our programs. What if we took the assets and then turned the yield from a very specific set of those assets into gas abstraction programs and things that directly go back to builders? So that's what's coming up in the next quarter.
That's fantastic. I'm happy to hear. That sounds like a really good change. I major applaud to you as well, because you hang out with me very actively in the AgFam chat, which is probably one of the most diehard
AgFam.
Polygon community enthusiasts. And so I love watching you go in there and really solicit good feedback, honest feedback, the pain points, the good stuff, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You're not scared to get your hands dirty, and they're not scared to share. So all of that sounds fantastic. That
they
sounds
help
like
drive some of these changes. It was super important, and something that they've also they've asked for more clear communication about what Polygon is shooting for, and so that's something that's going to come up also. I was looking at the Y Combinator application. There was some tweet that popped up where Y Combinator is pretty direct. These are the types of teams that we want for this season. We want, shockingly, they're all AI teams right now, but we want this, healthcare AI was one of them, this type of infrastructure. And they pretty directly say, these are the things that strategically we're looking for in this cohort. The feedback we've gotten, and I agree, is that we've leaned a bit too much on general. And so something we're going to be doing is making sure that we're communicating, like RWAs are a very big priority for us. And art PFPs and art NFTs, it less so. Like that doesn't mean there isn't a place for them, but it means that like the incentive structures for this upcoming season are built around driving this specific type of asset. And that can change in future seasons, but it's our responsibility to clearly communicate that, because ultimately that's what gets people building.
I've always enjoyed being part of the nerd layer. This is where real tech is. There's real infra. There's real developments. Speaking of, we can kind of round the horn here. There's so many tweets like to choose from here. So I'm going to kind of probably just take them one at a time here and just get your feedback or your thoughts or what relevance it has that you think people should take away from these latest threads. So CDK goes.
This is way better than using my Twitter, which would mostly be technical shit posting.
That's okay. That's what we're here for, quite honestly. Dabblers love that stuff. So what's the implication here? Ag layer is a big deal. People hear about it a lot. There's developments happening in the background. It's still highly technical. It's not quite necessarily available like at a retail use case yet. But what's the CDK going multi-stack?
The thesis for ag layer is it's about you shouldn't have to commit to, as an ecosystem, to one stack, to one chain, to one collection of chains. And the thing that's been really fun about being at Polygon is seeing now that parts of the ag layer are coming into existence, think the LXLY bridge, you can see the roadmap down in the future start to reflect that, because we're coming out at the L2 community, the Ethereum community is coming out of a stretch where you had to have your own stack and you had to have your own walled garden and you had to have everybody using it as gobbling up market share. This is the impact of this is chains are all frickin' the same. Like they all have the same config values. They're all general purpose. They're all just like kind of Ethereum light, and they're all competing with one another. And so we had taken this one community and we had shattered it out into a bunch of them, while also telling them that they were going to get commoditized and they couldn't make any choices. That's not where this could go. And so ag layer is like, the point of ag layer is that you can build the chain that you want. You can set it how you want it to be. You can charge what you want for it. And the other chains that you're interoperating with don't have to trust you to do it well. And so hopefully you do it well. But if you make a mistake, then that shouldn't lead to financial repercussions on one of the other chains. And so once you decouple those, that means that you can start focusing in on what is it that makes a chain great. Now, this also means that you shouldn't just be using one stack. CDK is showing a lot of promise. So CDK is Polygon's technology stack. It's showing a lot of promise for payments and enterprise solutions. And then other chains use other stacks. And one of them that they use is OP Stack. And so CDK, as of this week, supports OP Stack, where you can have an OP Stack rollup that using OP Succinct, which is that using OP Succinct actually has a ZK prover attached to it. So you get the benefits of a ZK rollup, which means you can withdraw much more quickly and still be secure, and of a proven stack from the optimistic family. And so as of this week, you can do it.
It's so crazy to watch all these things like meshing together. I grew up in an era of it all being so distinctive. Go ahead.
And it's fun to get to root for the other stacks, where there's something that's just always kind of weird for rooting for crypto, but just only this one slice of crypto. And so, especially since I come from the OP ecosystem before this, getting to bring these two worlds together, like I'm so happy. It's so great.
You know, Igmar has a comment here, and this is kind of interesting. If you come from the era of like interoperability bridges and like multi-bridges and all these hoppers and stuff, people are almost maybe looking at this as they've seen like older solutions that try to offer kind of a one and done stop shop kind of thing. How is the ag layer approaching this in a different way? Why is this not just trying to like pull everything to it with gravity? I'm aware that it like lives underneath everything, right? It's not a different chain that you choose to use to instead of these other chains. It's the in between, right? It's the fascia.
So fundamentally, it's about the difference between chains communicating with one another by messages versus communicating with one another by assets. About, are you actually sending an asset between these chains in a fast and secure way versus are you communicating with the chains of balance on another chain? And what we're starting to see is products emerging out of that would be much more challenging otherwise. One of them is Vault Bridge. That was the other announcement this week. Vault Bridge is a bridge that you use to enter the chain, to enter the layer 2, and it uses those assets on the L1 and places them in a morpho vault that can generate yield. And the yield goes to the chain that is placing it there. This has not been done before at scale, especially across multiple chains. And what this does is it gives the chain a source of revenue they could use to grow the ecosystem that formerly it's just locked. It's just sitting there. It's not doing anything. It's like a net cost on everybody involved, including the L1. Something that's locked in a bridge could be used to like up the TVL of a DeFi community that is on L1. And the reason this works is because of the way Aglair is able to create an asset and confidently distribute it across these different chains using it and move it from one to the other. And that's why any chain that opts in, it is opt-in, and it should be opt-in for these chains because there will always be a canonical bridge aside from that. But for chains that opt into it and users that opt into it, they can now have these assets that are both working for the chain on the L1 and also act just like the assets on the L2 as they've come to expect.
Speaking directly to my DeFi roots, I'm excited. I'm sure Crypto Texan's pretty excited too.
You have no idea. I had the good fortune to hear to just sit next to Texan when he started going off with David Silverman, who is one of our product leads. And I felt like I was new to crypto again. I just sat there like, oh my God, this is so much. It was down the rabbit hole all over again.
We got a comment here from Shruti. Can you expand a little bit more on RWA, real world assets? What part gels with Polygon the most? Is it like taking the L2 in for the next level? Is it purely focusing on bringing off-chain assets on-chain? How do you see RWA fitting into the Polygon opportunity?
It's an evolution of the NFT primitive. So just like we used to have MP3s and you used to have an MP3 collection, but you don't anymore. Now you just have music. Like now it's just that there's a file format for passing music back and forth. And the same with NFTs, that having assets can mean all sorts of different things. And RWAs are an asset that has been brought on chain that is then needs to be moved around. And that's what Polygon POS, the chain, is good at. Moving value in the form of a real world asset or a stable coin and moving that to another place as cheaply and quickly as possible. And so that's what we saw emerging from it, of people wanting to bring these assets and this value on chain and then wanting to do stuff with it. And we saw that POS was better at this because of the institutional relationships, because of the on-ramps, and because of things like the NFT tech. And so that's where RWAs were a natural outcrop of that. This is best known as Courtyard, which the Courtyard team and the Polygon team promoted with a Charizard competition. Here for it. And but also RWAs are stablecoins. Like stablecoins are an RWA. And so really doubling down on like real assets with real value that real people are moving back and forth.
That was a shadowless first edition, as a matter of fact. I actually am going to be doing some real world asset fun with my guildmage Johan, based out of Bangkok. We've got an event later this month on the 17th. He's got a chef set up that's going to be using Polygon POS to receive payments to buy real world desserts. And so I'm going to be able to hook people up with
real world desserts, RWDs. All right, I'm in.
Exactly. And so that'll be really fun. I'm going to sponsor a couple of those desserts. So like from the comfort of my room here, we'll be able to feed people in Bangkok via POS. So it's fun watching it all come together. Mattie, I could talk with you for a long time. I want to try to keep us on track. So let's round the corner here. What are the parting words, calls to action? What do founders need to do? What do builders need to do? What do you want people to walk away from this time that we have with you today?
Ooh, I want to talk to you. This is actually a very specific call to action for people on this call. So we just wrapped up season 2, and we are working on the structure for season 3. Part of what we are building for this is founder support beyond just a grant. Like there are so many ways to help people be successful, whether it's introductions, marketing, product advice, mentorship. And this is really, really underserved across all of crypto. We want to be the best at it. The only way we can be the best at it is if we're talking to y'all. So please reach out to me, and I'll be reaching out to folks who both got a grant and some teams that did not get it this round. But if you have something that you need, I would like to know about it. So please tell me.
Where's the best place for people to find you?
Right here. So you can send me a message here. You can also, let's see, how can I get my Telegram? And just send me a message on Twitter, and we will set something up.
Mattie, it's been such a pleasure to get to know you, work alongside of you, and watch your impact continue to grow and benefit everyone here in the Polygon ecosystem. I thank you for your time today.
I appreciate you. Thanks, Cale. Have a good weekend.
Yeah. All right, folks, I'm going to bring up a fan favorite here of mine. If you spent any time in the Polygon Discord at all, then you're going to be familiar with our next guest. So I'm going to bring Silver up onto the stage. He's a no camera fan, and that's just fine with us. We just kind of want to hear what's going on in his head. Silver, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So you're, like I said, I'm a big fan because I love watching organic community efforts in place. So just kind of in your own words, who are you and what are you doing for the Polygon ecosystem?
I am your nameless, faceless internet troglodyte advisor, basically. More or less what I work to do is to try to help cultivate more of a business mindset in the Polygon community, because we have a lot of people that are very technically minded, very intelligent, very capable of making products, but they don't necessarily have the capability of either organizing people or converting what their idea is into like an actual business or something that's useful, whatever, what have you. My background is basically, so I was been in the power plant business. I've designed lithium-ion battery assemblies, so I've done a little bit of renewables and solar. I've done some industry work with cogeneration power plants, and this, that, and the other. And I've been in the crypto industry since 2016 when I was buying any color Power Dragon or whatever it was, like RX 480s for $225, and I was making mining rigs out of wooden sticks I bought from Ace Hardware.
Sheesh.
So I've been in it for a while. But yeah, so I'm basically just kind of an all-rounder. I'm not necessarily really technically minded. I'm just kind of a more, I guess what you would call it, RWAs, but that's actually kind of, I have three kind of things I want to talk about. One may be kind of controversial, and it's the first one, but it does involve things like buzzwords, if you want to get into that.
I'm happy to hear it. I love a little controversy in the morning.
Okay, very good. So I have three things I wanted to cover in general, which is basically we need infrastructure and not buzzwords. And second thing is people don't care how things work. They only care that they do work. And then lastly, technology is not a business. Now, the first one may kind of ruffle some feathers, but let me, I'm going to go through it and I'll explain my reasoning. And firstly, we're in the crypto space, and it's like every 3 months there's like this new buzzword that everyone likes using, and sometimes it sticks around. Usually it doesn't, much like most projects, right? But like we have all these things like Web3 when most people don't even know what Web2 is. We use terms like decentralization, tokenization, RWAs, DePIN, software as a service, fintech, and perhaps one of the most egregious examples of oxymorons, since things like Microsoft Works, military intelligence, jumbo shrimp, we like to use the term AI, artificial intelligence, when sometimes it, what was the most recent jailbreak? It was how many R's are in strawberry? It struggled, right? So what I mean by all this, right? That's a lot of buzzwords. And I mean, we use all these marketing terms, but in reality, we're still struggling with like basic things. And when I say infrastructure, I'm going to use the terminology of like roads and destinations. So like we have these destinations, which are like projects where people want to go to and do stuff, right? But we really need also means to get there. And then sometimes along the way, we may need something like a gas station to I'm using this as like a metaphor analogy to basically say we should have tertiary side services, we should have destinations, and then we should have on-ramps and means to get there. And like any project, like there's so many different chains with so many different projects, like probably tens of thousands of projects a year. A lot of them fail because they don't necessarily it's like saying I built an ice cream stand and it's in the wilderness of Alaska. One, it's already cold, and people don't necessarily how to get from point A to point B. So that's like something.
Where's the fit?
Yeah. It's basically the idea that, you know, we have to think about what it is that we're making, who it is that it's for, and then where it is that we're placing ourselves in the quote unquote space, whatever that may be. So on to the second thing. People don't care how things work, and they only care that they do. So every morning, most people get up and then they expect their car to work, or they expect to go outside and get on a train, and they expect the train to show up on time, et cetera, et cetera. They don't care about all the tertiary services like the maintenance and the fueling and the blah, blah, you know, et cetera, et cetera. It's only a problem when it doesn't work, right? So in that sense, then, like it is, so obviously a lot of the things, like we're kind of like in this space where like we're still, as we always say, we're still early, we're still on the ground floor, which is true, right? Because things are always changing and things are always building. But the point is that we have like a subset of very technical people who, I'm not saying it's a stereotype, but there seems to be a tendency to say like, oh yeah, you'll just figure it out. And the reality is that if adoption is to ever come, like people, you know, like the average normie to use cryptocurrency, it must be stupid easy. It absolutely must be. It must be as good looking as it is user friendly. And in many cases, we struggle because people want to have like all these different, you know, they want to jam pack like 20 different services into like one page. And the reality is most people only go to one page for one thing. So, but neither here nor there. So with that sense, you know, take some hint from successful companies. You know, like, you know how Amazon does like the one click, you know, checkout, how eBay basically makes it incredibly easy to buy or sell on their platform, how YouTube basically just says, type in the thing you want to go here. And then it just does the thing, whatever it is that you want. And then you basically kind of specify what your service should be towards the user. And this sounds stupid, but unintuitively, but it's kind of strange. It's like a lot of services are like, oh yeah, this is just normal crypto jank. It's been the way we've always done it, and this is the way everyone expects it to be. And I don't think it has to be that way. I think it should be, as much as possible, easier. And then lastly, within this subcategory of discussion, shall we say, figure out who it is that you're talking to. So like in some cases, right? So I think Dabl Club does the AI agents course, right? So basically, who are you talking to? Are you talking to a driver? Or are you talking to a mechanic? Because depending on who it is that you're talking to or what information you're trying to like communicate, it's really they are very different conversations, and people try to be universal, or people basically try to like, you know, talk shop with someone who knows that you put the key in the ignition and that's really about it. So
very well said. We absolutely lived right through that and realized that, yeah, we got a mechanics course and we're trying to talk to people that are passionate about the behind the scenes wires and how it really actually occurs, opposed to necessarily creating something that's available to the large masses.
Right. And you guys do a pretty good job. Your guys are like really approachable. But you guys also have like the long form, right? And so like we're kind of like mixing in this particular, this is a really broad ranging discussion. Like we're mixing and matching the specifics between marketing, education, communication, and then like how to communicate effectively, which is its own discussion. But that's the thing, is that when you have something like crypto, which is like, it's finance when it really comes down to it, or in some cases, maybe it's record keeping, or maybe in some cases it's data storage. It is this really broad ranging thing, much like the internet. So you kind of like have to, it encompasses everything, but then you can, you know, black is not white, green is not yellow. So you kind of have to like subdivide each of these siloed sections. A little bit rambly, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying.
No, I think you're nailing it, and you're providing. That's why I wanted to bring you up here, just make sure people have visibility of you and are aware that you're hanging out there in that Polygon Discord, because it's a very different kind of discussion, and I like the flavor of discussion that you try to cultivate inside those chats. That's Ice, which I know you know Ice. He's very chatty in the Discord as well. Silver's one of the realest ones that he knows out there. So it's working. Like your approach to this is very good. I love sitting in on the pitch deck calls that you lead and getting people to hop up there and putting them in that restrained framework of that 3-minute timer and holding them to that clock. People that haven't participated in like hackathons of that format type, sometimes they're not super familiar with that. They're not experienced in trying to get their pitch down in a very concise, clear way. The feedback is very authentic. And so I just want to make sure that you know that you're well appreciated. I'm a big fan, like I said, and I hope you keep showing up and being consistent presence in the Polygon ecosystem.
Of course. I mean, like I said, I'm just there to help other people because it seems like, people need a certain sort of help that didn't exist. So like nature abhors a vacuum, as they say. So I just kind of slid in. But yeah, speaking of that, thank you for sliding into my DMs and inviting me here. I definitely appreciate it.
That's that's what I do, man. Put champions up on shoulders.
Yeah, but and then last portion, and then I'll stop talking because I'm sure all of you are tired. But last one is technology is not a business. And what does that mean? It means that just because you make a really cool protocol, doesn't necessarily mean one, anyone's going to use it, and two, you're going to make any money from it. And a lot of the things that I found when looking at some of these internet businesses, like things that are like that started remotely and are being operated remotely, is that more often than not, things fall apart because of one of two reasons. Either you don't have a business plan, and even having a bad plan is better than no plan, or you guys kind of have personnel problems. And I think that is the personnel problems. Like sometimes they're separate, right? So everyone has their own story. But the point is that usually occurs because there's not like a destination, like a vision, or like a expectation of behavior that's not established within whatever group that is. And so it's difficult to kind of like make a coherent structure or a coherent company if you guys don't know where you're going or what you're doing. So just because you made something really cool doesn't mean it's going to make you any money. Now you can design things like to automatically, as a protocol, get out a portion of, like, let's say, 0.3% of whatever the transaction is. I mean, that's what Tornado Cash did, or basically with the movement of transactions. And that's why they got in trouble, which is also another good point, is that just because you're crypto, if you get big enough, you will attract attention, and then people's eyes will be upon you. So it's good. Obviously, all businesses kind of start out a little bit loosey-goosey, but it's good to start from first principles, best practices, is to basically start out, make sure you have an accountant, make sure you have a lawyer, make sure you're to the best of your ability, because laws are kind of subjective. What anyone says, it's true. Laws are subjective. It's just whether or not a good lawyer knows the law, a great lawyer knows the judge in this particular case.
That's really well said. Yeah,
but
and that's perfect. No, that's perfect, Silver. That's exactly what I like about it. Is people are not just creating projects; they're creating businesses. And so if they haven't thought through all the additional components necessary for success, sometimes it's a rude awakening.
Yes, especially when you end up in like a $10,000 boo-boo.
Yeah. So I want to invite people to join the Polygon Discord. It's active. There's a lot of community happening in there. You'll find Silver in there. He's leading these on almost a weekly cadence, finding the times that work for the community and putting something together. I know you've been experimenting with some X spaces as well, opposed to just the Discord stage. So what's the next happenings there, Silver? Where should people try to catch you?
So two things that I want to try to cultivate. One of the things I'm working on is a website, which I haven't made yet, so someone's probably going to steal it. But I won't tell you the website end address, but I'm going to call it Satoshi's list. I'm going to basically try to make it that so we have a cultivated list of all these different people, developers, services, accountants, etc., that apply to crypto or Polygon, like whatever subdivision, whatever. That's what I'm going to be working on. So if anyone wants to help, I've had some people kind of offer, but has to be the right fit. So obviously we'll have a discussion and try to work together. And then the second thing is I would like to do more X spaces, but I'm looking for more co-hosts that are consistent. And so like essentially when you come to me, I want to see like something that you've done before. I want to see like what you're, even if you are working for another project, can you like structure a show? Like even I'm bad at structuring a show. So I'm looking for someone who's better than me. But basically, can you make something that's interesting, short, and educational? Because at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is cultivate, like, if we have like greater groups of knowledge to help each other, then we can have better communities and subsequently a better chain. And then hopefully what everyone really cares about, make more money. If we don't do that, we just basically, every man for himself, then it's going to be, big fish eat little fish. And that's no fun.
Yeah, we've been through those eras. I'm looking forward to the collaboration era. Silver, I appreciate your time. We're going to have you here in the future as well. I always keep an eye on you. I like to watch what you're doing. Keep it up, man. We're lucky to have you.
Well, thank you for having me. Hopefully I wasn't too word salad, and see you around.
Right on. Thanks, Silver. All right, Collin's itching at the bit. Let me go ahead and get him up here. Mr. Collin, what's going on? What are you dabbling in lately?
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be on and talking to this group again. I'm going to go in my own style. I'm going to go kind of fast. So, bear with me. So just be prepared. I want to save some time for Mel. So I'm going to go through a lot of really exciting projects that we've met over the last couple months. Also, I just wanted to point out the Ethereum Pectra upgrade is live. And so you might say, then your next question might be like, when is Polygon going to implement that? So I'm actually going to show you. So you can actually go to the governance.polygon.technology and you can go and see proposals. So you can go in here and you can search for Pectra and you can see there is a Pectra EIP right here. So if you're wondering these questions like, hey, when's Polygon going to go to Pectra? Or you want to put a proposal on to the community, Polygon is governed on this site, governance.polygon.technology. And you can see the delegates, the proposals, as well as you can learn about how to build your own PIP. So I thought that would be useful for folks that are asking that question. Also, if you want any help and you want to get in touch with us, I want to make it really easy for everyone to reach me and reach the Dabl Club. So if you don't know, you're like just joining in because you still don't know what Dabl Club is, we help founders level up and we want you to build on Polygon with us. So I'm actually opening up my calendar now and you can click book a call right on the website and you can book time with me and we will help you whether you are looking for a grant or you're looking for advice on your pitch or some co-marketing ideas. We can help promote you on this call and we're going to be doing more calls and more events this year. The main place to chat with the overall global Dabl Club is on our Telegram chat right here. Also, if you want to get help from Polygon, you can come to us, but you can also go right to Polygon's Meet the DevRel, and you can actually book time with Brian Song, Bruno, and Mel. We can also get Ayush and some shadowy DevRel. Don't pick on Elton. He now works with Coinbase, but we've got Brian and Mel and Bruno and Ayush on this site. So you can now book time with anyone you want. It's also on polygon.technology/community meet the DevRel. So that's a way that you can get in touch with us. You can also just chat in our chat group and message us on Telegram. I might not be, but I think it's easier to just book a call on I'm going to save some time for Mel because he's going to announce our dev camp. So really excited. We're going to be teaching how to build payment solutions and wallets and RWAs on our new developer camp. So Mel's going to talk about that in a little bit. Also want to make a big announcement. Maiden has officially spun out from Polygon, raised funding, and now Maiden has its own program. So if you were excited about Polygon Maiden, you might be even more excited that now that Maiden is its own company and its own ecosystem. So you can go join. They have a pioneer program where they have top teams. They're going to give $20,000 and give you all the support that you need. So they already have 5 projects in the Maiden ecosystem. And you can go apply for their pioneer program right on their website. Their testnet is live in version 7, so they are live. You can actually go build on Maiden now, and they have their roadmap live on the website. I won't dive into that deep. Also, shout out to another company that has successfully spun out from Polygon, raised money, and even acquired Disco.xyz. So I highly recommend checking out Privado ID. You might have heard of it as Polygon ID, but Privado is now growing and they're multi-chain, just like the Polygon ag layer is a multi-stack and multi-chain. Privado is multi-chain across many different Ethereum compatible projects. Also, Hadron Founders Club, our sister organization, they had a big big month this month. They launched their space in Dubai. So if you go to they launched their campus. They have this beautiful space in Dubai. So this was a big highlight of Token 2049. You can check out their space if you're in Dubai. I highly recommend checking out the new ag layer Hadron building in Dubai. So check out the Hadron Founders Club if you're trying to build. There's over 100 founders have now joined the Hadron Founders Club. I also want to say, follow me on Twitter. I realize I don't do enough of this. If you want to keep in touch and stay on the news, catch things like Maiden or Meet the DevRel, you can always find me on Twitter. I'm @Colo. That's my name. So we heard some awesome news from Mattie. Polygon's CDK is now multi-stack. We now have CDK for the Optimism stack. So OP stack chains can now connect to the AG layer without the silos or 15% tax or 7-day delays, which you get if you're not on AG layer. So AG layer now has a 0%, like a really low cost to have your chain connected to all of the other chains. So this is really big. Also, in the news, Stripe now launched their stablecoin features, including Polygon Rails. So you can actually send money on Stripe using Polygon, which is pretty huge. And we also heard about Vault Bridge, which is a built-in revenue stream for all the existing L2s, which helps generate yield. And this is built on top of Morpho. So if you're not familiar with Morpho, I encourage you to check out morpho.org. It's earn, borrow, and build on Morpho. So also, you'll if you're following people on Twitter, you might want to follow Mark, our CEO of Polygon Labs. He's also put out this message, which I really caught my eye, which is we now have 250 millisecond block times with Gateway FM on the Polygon CDK. So this is huge, super fast times on Polygon. I think, if we keep decreasing the block times, that increases the speed of everybody overall. Also want to give a shout out to the Quadratic Accelerator. Their big event is approaching their final push. So you can vote on which coins will be the winners. So check out the Quadratic Accelerator, or QAC. They're actually hosting a space. You can go listen into their recent space. So you can still apply for several Polygon grants. And if you are looking for those grants, it's polygon.technology/grants. Mattie and Cale talked about this. Angel Hack and Thrive are two more generic ones that just about anyone can apply for. Quick Launch is a program designed for people launching tokens, and it's partnered with QuickSwap and TrustSwap. And then we still have AI things like Polybrain, which is for people building AI. And we also have DPIN. So there are still 5 different applications that you can fill out, as well as you have Hadron Founders Club and you still have many more things that you can apply for. We have several events coming up. We're going to be doing more community calls and developer camps. We are now using lemonade.social. So I'll drop that link on the screen here. I'll drop a banner right here so you guys can find that page. This is also right on the Dabl Club website, but now you can find Lemonade Social is an amazing platform that we've decided to start using for several of our communities. So you can actually build your community on Lemonade. You can see the Dabl Club community here. I can also see other communities that I'm a member of. I've created a Dabl Club San Francisco. So what we want to do is bring on all of our local clubs. The local Dabl Clubs can now have their own Lemonade page as a sub-community within our overall global community. So I'm going to be reaching out to the Polygon Guild leaders and onboarding them to Lemonade. Lemonade is a real competitor to Luma. I think we need to get away from Luma because Luma is somewhat of a monopoly, and I'd really like to encourage everyone to move their events over to Lemonade Social. Also want to give a big shout out to Orange DAO. This is not one of the Polygon grant programs, so unrelated, but we also have a partnership with Orange DAO. And if you'd like to get into one of the top accelerators in the world, Orange DAO is a sort of a spin out from Y Combinator. So Y Combinator and Orange DAO are very similar, and you can go to orangedao.xyz to find out more. And I'll put this link on the web on the site, but you can go and apply for Orange DAO. It's one of the best founder communities in crypto, and we have partnered with them. So you can go and apply for the Orange DAO, and they'll know that you came from Dabl. I'll put this long link up here. It's a little bit long link, so I'll put it on the screen. But go and apply for the Orange DAO fellowship, and tell them that Dabl sent you. If you're a little further along and you want to come pitch your project, I encourage you to also check out BitAngels. They're going to be hosting pitch events around the world. They're hosting pitch events in Toronto, in New York Tech Week, and BTC Las Vegas, as well as in Puerto Rico. So pretty exciting. If you're looking to pitch at an event in front of investors, I encourage you to check out bitangels.network. Anyone in San Francisco, raise your hand. Give me some comments. Anyone in San Francisco? Hello, San Francisco. So we now have a new space for Dabl Club. This is a really big news. It's a vertical village, so inspired by Zuzulu. And aligned with Ethereum. So we now have a 16-story tower in San Francisco. So if you are in New York, you should be jealous. If you're anywhere else in the world, come visit San Francisco. It's the best place to start your startup. We have floors for startups. We have a floor for longevity, a floor for AI and machine learning, even a floor for human flourishing. And of course, there's an Ethereum floor filled with Polygon builders. So I'll be on the Ethereum and decentralized tech floor. We just started putting desks and chairs in our office, and you can come and join. We also have arts and music and parties, so you can come hang out with me in my office. We're not calling it ETH Tower, but maybe, in a sense, it is the Ethereum Tower in San Francisco. So come and join me on the Ethereum floor. We're right in the center of San Francisco at 995 Market. So really excited to have this new space. It's also a decentralized community. So you can come, it's actually organized all on Notion, and you can come and join and take a leadership role too. So we've got tons of space for you and your entire startup if you want. So come visit me in San Francisco. We'll have an open house coming up on May 12th. So I'll drop all these links into a newsletter and send them out, or you can just book a call with me. Here's a link to, I'll drop a banner right here so you can see if you want to, if you're in San Francisco, come to the Frontier Tower for the next open house. If you're in New York, also, I don't want you to miss out. techweek.com is coming up. New York Tech Week is one of the biggest conferences of the year for New York. So I'm going to fly out there and I'll be there to host some events and meet all the builders. So if you are going to be in New York, June 2nd to 8th is the best time to be there. And I hope to see you guys there. Also, this weekend, I might be in New York to go join a Coinbase Builder project. So if you want to come learn about Coinbase's products, we'll be there to learn about Coinbase, and you can learn about all their new products. They just launched some really awesome products. So I'll be there this weekend to learn more about Coinbase and their products. Also, we've got an event in Taipei at a cool coffee shop, so helping people file their taxes in Taiwan. So file smart, build smart. This will probably be, it's all written in Chinese. So I encourage you, we also have it in English. It'll be bilingual. So come to our Channel DAO event in Taipei. Big shout out to the Channel DAO team for organizing. Also coming up May 22nd is the Global Pizza Party. Woo! If you're not excited about pizza, I don't know who you are, but there's going to be free pizza, and there's over 460 different locations. So if you forgot about it, now you've been reminded. Go to globalpizza.party or pizzadao.xyz and find the local pizza party near you. You can search around on the map and you can find all the different parties around the world. So please go. Encourage you to all check out the Pizza DAO events. Also want to talk about some awesome startups. So cookbook.dev, I think you guys have heard of them before. We actually have them on our website. So right on our website, if you go down to the bottom right corner, you can click Ask Dabblebot, and you can actually ask Dabblebot anything about Polygon, like how to deploy on Polygon. And you can also get detailed chain information about Polygon, add Polygon to your wallet, and you can even deploy smart contracts right from a browser. So I can compile this smart contract right on screen, and then I can click deploy and actually deploy an ERC20 token right from the Dabl Club website. And this is all thanks to cookbook.dev. and they just raised their a round. So I won't reveal how much, but really excited to hear that they're going to continue building. They have almost 2,000 contracts and over 70 different protocols and chains have integrated with them. So it looks like 96 chains, actually. Sorry, more than 70. So 96 chains are now, you can now deploy and build contracts right from your web browser. Also want to give a shout out to Zay.xyz. They launched their agent launcher. This was something that we've been talking about at Dabl Club quite a bit. So you can now go and use this AI agent to actually build and launch your own AI agent. So they have an agent builder and a terminal on their website. So and you can see all the agents that have been built. There's a QAC intern because they went through the quadratic accelerator. So I encourage you to check out Zay.xyz. And also, I've been playing around with dial.fun. You can connect it right to Polygon and connect it right to your wallet. And let me just connect it to my wallet. Boom. Typed my password wrong. And now I'm connecting it to my MetaMask. And boom, I've now connected this to my MetaMask, and I can type in my wallet address, and I can then start a video call live on the internet with anybody by sharing a link. So it's pretty cool to see that you can, why is it not? It's staying offline. Oh no, maybe it's offline right now. Demos never work, but it's great. You can replace your Zoom. Also want to give a shout out to Vercadia, which is an open source metaverse that you can actually build your own 3D game and as well as have AI agents in the game. So it uses Unity and Unreal Engine, and it's a completely open source project. So we've partnered with them to host some hackathons in Taipei. So you're gonna see some announcement for their hackathon that's coming up. Really exciting. You might remember from Denver that we also won the ETH Denver Hackathon. Thank you, Mel. And what we built there was called actionitem.app. You can check it out, but it was built on top of the OMI. And so I want to give a quick update on the OMI project. You may remember the OMI dev kit that we handed out over 600 of these around the world at the ETH Global Hackathons. And you can now buy your own OMI dev kit right on the website. But you can also buy the new product that's now out. You can buy the OMI product itself, and you can pre-order the necklace. I've seen pictures of them in the warehouse. They are being manufactured and being assembled and shipping very soon. So this is the new device. So while the developer kit was really cool, and I recommend buying the developer kit if you are a developer, because you can flash the firmware, compile your own firmware, everything is open source. But the new product is out and shipping soon. So I encourage you to buy one. And it connects to the OMI AI app. But it also, they've now released OMI glasses. So the OMI dev kit for glasses is now available, and you can now order it. So I'll show a quick video, but I'm not gonna, I'll keep it on mute. So the OMI glasses are now available, and they're actually have a plugin to add telepathic integration to it too. So you can actually connect it to your head, and it can read your brain signals. So this is really futuristic tech, but it's something that is actually real. It actually works, and you can see it on Twitter. And you can now buy your own OMI glass dev kit. So we did a workshop this week building OMI dev kits. And next week, we're going to build OMI glass dev kits in person in San Francisco. And we'll put out some content from Dabl Club on how you can get your own. You can buy it right here. I encourage you to check it out. There's a guide for how you can 3D print your own at home. So if you have a 3D printer, you can buy all the parts online and make your own. And also wanted to give a shout out to Robonomics Network. So they are hosting our events in San Francisco. So they have a ton of really cool hardware and robots. So we're gonna be hosting events at the Frontier Tower in San Francisco with OMI and Dabl Club. So that's my quick rundown of all the awesome stuff that's happening in San Francisco. Again, if you want to chat with me, you can always find me on dabl.club. Just book a call with me. I want to save some time for Mel. I know that was fast, but there's a lot of cool things happening in the world right now. So,
man, you're so plugged in. I think it's time for you to have your own dedicated show.
I was thinking the same thing. Let's just do this every day. You know, there's no reason to wait till once a month. Let's do every week.
Fantastic, Colin. Like, thank you. This is the value, right? Partnerships and events, man. You got your fingers everywhere. Like, there's so much information to share. Silver's leading the call tomorrow, and he's already mentioning he's going to be relaying a lot of this information and sharing that at large too. So yeah, we gotta get caught up with you more frequently. All right, thanks, Colin.
Thank you, guys.
Mel, you ready to wrap this thing up? You've got a singular goal, a primary focus, and I'm really excited for what you're going to get to share with the community today. Oh, you're muted locally. Let's get him situated. Oh, he's look at that confusion on his face, folks. We'll get it there. Let's see what's going on.
I'm unmuted here.
You're good now.
To go?
Good to go.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. Yeah, so super cool call. Happy to hear everything. You kind of are aware of things that are happening, but it's always nice to have it condensed in one call. So yeah, following up on everything that, especially what Mattie has been relaying regarding the RWA focus that Polygon is taking. For now, we want to leverage all of that and all of the infrastructure that Polygon currently has on chain, and also the great team that has been assembled both on Polygon and Dabl Club. So you're probably familiar, some of you should be familiar with Agent Camp that happened at the beginning of the year. We went really deep into the technical side of building agents with ELISA OS. Well, now our shift will go towards more the on-chain part. So in order to help you start building more towards RWAs, payments, stablecoins, and all of this, we will be launching our first on-chain fundamentals dev camp. This is a 4-week program designed to really get you set up building as fast as possible on-chain with Polygon, and very focused on RWAs, getting you the basic fundamentals, as the name of the course says, of what you're actually going to be learning. So we're going to speedrun a lot of smart contract development. So the first week, it's all about getting smart contracts on with ERC20s, ERC721s. This is probably very easy for you to, you probably use them. If you're here, you probably have tokens, both ERC20 and also NFTs. Now it's time to start thinking on how to build them. We're going to be leveraging AI, of course. So if you're fresh, you don't know a lot of code, you don't know a lot of syntax or anything, this is precisely the kind of dev camp for you. So we will be running through the first week on getting started on smart contracts, Solidity, and also using some dev tooling such as Scaffold to get you with your first transactions on chain. This was going to happen in the first 2 sessions. Second week is going to be a lot about getting you working with on-chain tooling or on-chain infra. So the second week will be specifically about getting you using stablecoins, the ERC20 standard. How can we leverage it to start using different coins? We will be exploring Circle also, so you can get your hands dirty with USDC, so you know what are the ins and outs, how to get test tokens and all this, and how to start building RWAs with yield vaults. So how can we start generating these kind of interesting patterns of how to start generating yields with real world assets and with smart contracts, and then using Uniswap, so we can start doing pools, start using the hooks, start doing swaps, so you can also enable token swapping in your application. So week 1 and week 2 is going to be a lot about building on chain with infra and smart contracts. Week 3 is when we're going to start doing more front end. We're going to be doing a lot of vibe coding to create our first wallet interface, getting our users to start doing payments on our wallets, and also just doing fun stuff on chain and with proper UI, connecting all of the contracts that we create and the hooks, Uniswap, Circle, and our proper ERC20s and ERC721s and ERC4262. I know this kind of sound like a lot of mumbo jumbo, but in short, how to get tokenized assets on chain and how to get people to use a front end and deploy it so they can start swapping your tokens and swapping your assets. And pretty much, this is going to give you a great starting point. And week 4 is about you building out your idea. So week 4 is going to be about finishing touches for the app, how to build a demo, how to present, what is the objective of all of this dev camp? Is for you to get started with an idea on payments, real world assets, remittances is an example for tokenizing real estate, tokenizing Pokemon cards, whatever you come up with, tokenizing art, and getting yield on it, getting a user flow. So what's the process for this? You should go to the link for the application. Let me share it very quickly here so you can also copy, share a link, and paste it here, and maybe Cale can help us put it on the screen here. Oh, yeah, it's also over there already. So it's a very simple form. What we really want to look is so you can help us understand what's your idea. The idea has to be very simple to understand. I want to make a payments app for my local art shop. I want to do payments app for the taco stand that's right on the corner. I'm in Mexico, so we have taco stands everywhere. And I would love to pay with Polygon. I would love to pay with Mexican stablecoin, for example. So these kind of ideas, if you want to do a stablecoin for your local community, we can help you get on that. There's already an open source program, protocol that you can use to get your. Maybe we can do that in a special session. I'm gonna think about it and see how many of you want to do that. And if it happens, just make sure to put your idea there. Other things that we can also explore is Morpho to get this lending market access, smart contracts. So it's all about the idea and building it. And the last week, as mentioned, is about polishing your idea and sending it. What's the purpose of this? Is for you to get your hands dirty with smart contracts, with payment solutions, with RWAs on chain. So our next dev camp is going to be a lot more focused on RWAs, and we're going to take the top builders from this dev camp for on-chain fundamentals, and we're going to start grooming them into builders, into founders. We want to find the founders that are going to be building the next payment solutions on your communities. We're looking for expanding especially our guilds or our Dabl communities. There's already several cities popping up. Mexico City is one of them, which I'm leading. Buenos Aires is another one that's also cooking up. San Francisco, New York, of course. And sorry, I'm missing some of them, some others. But the idea is, there's these local communities that don't use USDC, and the stablecoin market is super. The market share for non-USD stablecoins is super small. So this is an amazing area of opportunity. And everything that we're going to learn during the dev camp for on-chain fundamentals is going to allow you to understand how to do swapping, so you can accept remittances, maybe in Nigeria, maybe in India, where you can accept USDC and swap it on-chain for your currency, your local currency. So these are the kind of things that you're going to be learning. And if you apply yourself, you really show us that you have promise. There's going to be challenges. So what we're going to be doing is every week we're going to post 2 challenges, one on Monday and one on Wednesday. So this is going to happen starting next Monday. Dev camp starts on the session start on Tuesday, but the first challenge goes up on Monday. It's going to be building an ERC20 on your own. So you can already start thinking about this. And the more challenges that you submit, special challenges and code challenges that are part of the deliveries for each week, the more rewards that you're going to get. There's still some definitions that we cannot share right now for the rewards, but there's going to be swag. There's going to be some token rewards, probably some quadratic voting, maybe. So make sure to come in with the community, come in with your friends. And lastly, of course, the technical challenge, which is uploading stuff to GitHub. So you can start getting your GitHub also with code, with pull requests. So you can also start getting this reputation for GitHub. We're going to be using a very cool tool called DevDApp, I believe. And lastly, these challenges are going to count into some fun things. Road to Dev Connect is the boss phrase that a lot of people have been mentioning. We want to get the best builders and meet them at Dev Connect in Buenos Aires, Argentina. So yeah, make sure to submit the challenges because we want to do fun stuff with you. I don't want to give a lot of details until we have them closed, but yeah, you know how we do hacker houses. There's already the Road to Dev Connect, Destino Dev Connect. That's the name of the program that the ESP is already sharing. So We want to get on that, but for that we need builders that are actually gonna build and launch cool apps, cool products. And as Silver mentioned earlier, it's not just about the tech, it's about the product and your users. So come with us first to learn the tech starting next week. And once you learn the tech and see how easy it is to get started, that's when the fun part starts. And we will be launching another dev camp for the people who actually show us that they have the skills to build stuff in a dev camp, so we can get them building cooler stuff and eventually, hopefully, meet them at Buenos Aires and connect them with VCs, connect them with our grants programs, anything you need. We really want more founders building with RWAs, so this is the starting point for you.
I love it, Mel. This is when I get excited, right? I mean, this is my jam. This is getting the community together. So this is going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays for the virtual session. The whole entire curriculum is all virtual. You can use our Lemonade to find all those Dabl event listings. And we'll share all this here in the links. We'll have QR codes as well on our website. We'll have all of that. The application, this is important. Get that filled out ASAP, so that way we are ready to start connecting people. One of my favorite things about this is right here at this bottom, right? Is, are you interested in finding teammates to jam with? Our agent camp back in January, we put together some little working units that are still working together to this day. And so you might find your co-founder in these dev camps. So by all means, don't be afraid to be a social butterfly and meet some fellow builders and share your ideas. But Mel's ready to get after this. We've been planning it for quite a while now, and I'm so excited to see this get launched, because this is just when we see builders get active. And so I really appreciate the work you've been putting into this, Mel, and we're looking forward to the dev camp.
Thanks, Cale, for sure. And yeah, make sure to fill the application. We really want to start getting the ideas and even sharing them on, we want to highlight what you want to build. We want to highlight you as a builder. So that's what this form is about, getting to know you and starting to build these relationships with you, with the community, and really, propel you. We've all started somewhere. We've all started with an idea and started coding and learning. And who knows? Like Cale said, you might find your co-founder and get a startup running. So LFG.
Right on. Lots of love for you, Mel. They love it. All righty. I'm going to wrap things here, folks. Let's just do one big shout out that I'm super proud of. As the community manager, my opportunity is to empower all you dabblers and really help with these local communities, right? We do these virtual workshops, but the whole idea is to find some collaborators all over the world, so that way we can do these things at the local level as well, without the Dabl Club folks ourselves having to be the ones to go to these locations. And so this is one of my most exciting events that's coming up, which is going to be May 17th, completely organized by the local Polygon Guild Mage based in Bangkok, Thailand. Near and dear to my heart, had the opportunity to meet this friend in person during DevCon last year, and have maintained a really good relationship. So someone that I think sets a really good tone, very active inside the Dabl community in general, and just a great representative of what the Guild program's meant to do and meant to look like. So very excited for this event that's coming in May 17th. Well done, Johan. Very, very proud of you for that one. Okay, friends, I'm going to pull Collin. You look like you're still on camera. I'll pull you up here real quick. Let's see. Mel hopped off camera, so I think he's maybe stepped out of the room for now. But let's wrap this thing. I didn't know. I didn't know. Yeah, there he goes. I didn't know if we had. I thought this was going to be a short call, guys. So we slammed it. Good job, everybody. Lots of content. Thanks to Mattie. Thanks to Silver for our guest speakers and sharing everything that they were contributing to the Polygon ecosystem. Collin gave us a 30-unit list of all the latest happenings that you need to keep up with. Mel's got us ready for Dev Camp kicking off this next week on Tuesday, but the first challenge will issue out on Monday. And this is just one step in the journey for the road to Dev Connect, which is going to be in November. So I appreciate your time hanging out with us. Guys, any last words?
LFG or LFB for build.
Let's do it. All right, let's go ahead and call this thing. I appreciate everyone's time. Thanks for dabbling with us today. I appreciate all of the guest speakers, all of the content that we shared. We'll clip this, we'll snip this, we'll share the links through our Telegram, but that's where you'll want to be. Dabl.chat is the best place to come and ask questions or follow up or get any links shared with you, or find your fellow dabbler. And we'll see you at the Dev Camp.